Hello, everybody. This is the recorded class for September 28th, 2015. Um, we are going to go over our chapters that we discussed, and then I have some assignments at the end for you. You read chapters 3 and 4 in your books, and this is kind of a review over those. It would be really nice if you had your books handy as we go through the slide presentation. So chapter 3, it was about the art of children's literature. This is a very important chapter for you for when you're creating your picture book. I gave you the rubric last week, and elements, creativity, all of these design features are part of your grade. So please look over that rubric and really start thinking about your picture book that is due in 2 weeks, October 12th. And really kind of take in mind about space, line, shape, all the things that we're going to be talking about. So we're going to be focusing on in this chapter visual elements of artistic design, artistic styles, artistic media, and techniques. So with visual elements of artistic design, there are 7 things that our book focuses on to make things artistically pleasing, I guess you could say. And the first is your space. And space is really important, obviously, because you don't want an illustration all smushed in the one corner. You want it spread out. You want it visually pleasing. You want everything to be to draw the reader's attention in, but not take away from the text at the same time. And you definitely don't want that negative space, that white or blank areas. The second area is line, and lines can be horizontal, vertical, angled, curved, whatever it may be, but think about that when you're creating something. Heavy lines can boldly define forms or create shapes, and colors are important with the lines as well. Shapes also refer to 2 dimension of height and width arranged geometrically, and it's important that you do a variety of shapes when you create your book. To me, color is of the utmost importance. I purposely print things on colored paper or use a color printer in order to grab attention of people. If it's a flyer, whatever it is going home, it's really important. Texture isn't something we use every time, but texture is either the feeling of tactileness, but it also can be, it can look like that optically, or it can actually be, you can feel it. Some books, if you touch them, there's actually feathers in them or soft parts of a sheep's fur. So the texture is really important, especially with little babies. They love, in those early childhood books, to feel things, touch things, super important. Your scale and dimension are also important because this is how perspective and how you want things to look. You want to think about that. And combinations, composition is the combination of arrangement of the elements in an illustration. You focus on point of view and focal points, those kind of things when you're looking at composition. And these are all 7 things you need to keep in mind. They're on pages 50 through 53 in your book, and they're really important to take a look at. Artistic style is another thing that we should focus on. I have a picture here. And in your journals, I'm going to want you to write about this picture. It was just simply a picture I found out on the internet. And I want you to think about what you see, what you think, what you wonder, and what the title of this book might be. If this was the cover of a book or a first page of the book, what could the title of this book be? If we were in class, I'd have you work with a group and share out. However, this is going to be your journal prompt this week. I will remind you of this journal prompt at the end of the video. But think about this for a minute. What do you see? What are you thinking about this picture? What are you wondering is going to happen next? And what will be the possible title of this book? Keep thinking, it'll come back at the end of the slideshow. So as you're going through, your artistic styles are important, but also the artistic media and technique. And this is the way you get your color, your textures, your shape, your line. Painting is a big one. Drawing is another. But there's also other techniques that people use. Woodcut, airbrushing, collage, photography, and computer graphics. I put a collage piece here for you to see. Watercolor, when you use painting, is a definitely way that people use in books. It's very aesthetically pleasing. So, as we think about chapter 3, the main purpose of me having you read this has to do with your illustration and the creativity and the design of your picture book, which is due in 2 weeks. So think about this and bring that information to class with you on October 5th. Okay, our next chapter was chapter 4, and that talked about the early childhood books. Early childhood books are board books, so some of those like Goodnight Moon books, those kind of different things. And then also in this chapter, chapter 4, they talked about motivating students to become lifelong learners, which is huge. And they also talked about lifelong readers. So it's about students loving reading at a very early age. So in order to talk about this, I'm going to show you our focus book, which is The Rainbow Fish. So The Rainbow Fish is a cute little story, and your job is to go out on YouTube. Oops, back one. Go out on YouTube. The address is below here, and listen to the read aloud of the book. I want you to think about this and why it's so important. So it's basically a story of a tiny little shiny fish named Rainbow Fish, and he's kind of rude. It's a small fish, asks him if he could have one, and Rainbow refuses to give one of his scales away, but in a really rude way. So think about the message of this book. We'll be talking about that when we get back. And the author, when he was talking about the book, said it has no political message. It just shows us the joy of sharing and why it feels better to give. And Rainbow Fish discovers this during the book. But you need to go out after this video is over, back out to YouTube and check out this video. So there's lots of books of early childhood, board books, concept books, alphabet books, counting books, pattern books, and wordless books. And I'm sure at this point you've seen them all as you're looking through things. But when we do board books are really important because they're made for durability. They're made for little hands, mouths actually. Little kids and babies put the books in their mouths. So they're made that purposely for the youngest readers so they can interact with them. That's why I like those so much. A concept book is our picture books that present many examples of a particular concept. So it might be letters of the alphabet. It could be any sort of concept over, and there's usually a lot of repetition when it comes to it. The next one is alphabet books, simply ABC books. Normally it has a certain topic like trucks, and there's something in the alphabet, every letter, about trucks. A stands for automobile, B stands for, I don't know, whatever that you deal with trucks. But it helps children learn their letters and associate it with something. Counting books are learning to count. Most of the time they have a one-to-one correspondence. If the number they're focusing on is 5, they have 5 dots or 5 ladybugs, whatever it may be, which is pretty cool. Your pattern books are ones that have the same thing over and over so that you learn. And wordless books are books just with pictures, and without pictures. They can be used at the earliest of ages just to look at the pictures, or later on to write your own story using the pictures in that book. What I find to be the most important is to motivate lifelong readers. We want engaged readers in our classrooms, and this chapter talks about that. In order to engage readers, we need to have classrooms and homes that are rich with a variety of books. You probably don't know this, but there's some kids that have 0 books in their home. It's true. Engaged readers also like prior experiences with books. So the fact that they've had some really good, enjoyable experiences when they were little, they can remember back to when their mom or dad or their grandmother read to them. It's really important. Engaged readers also need opportunities for social interactions. So just like us as adults, if I read something really good, I want to share it with somebody or talk to somebody about it. So do kids. And also engaged readers view books as the best rewards. So their free time to be able to read a book is a very good thing. We want to make sure this is happening in our classrooms, and that's one of the reasons I'm having you do a literature circle. So how do we do this? How do we promote reading motivation? There's quite a few ways. The first one is read aloud to your children. If you're a parent, read aloud to them at home. If you're a teacher, read aloud to them in your classroom every day. It doesn't matter even if they're in middle school. Provide as many opportunities for children to interact with books, and especially books of their choice. That helps a lot. Use interest surveys with children to determine what type of books they like, and make sure you have them available. Give book talks regularly. Talk about the books, talk about what's going on there. Provide a conducive environment for quiet reading. That self-selected quiet reading is a very important time during the day. Provide daily time for children's recreational reading. That may include magazines. Integrate technology with reading. Stock your classroom library with great books, and share your own love of books. Make sure you're taking time to read when your students are reading. Okay, those are our 2 chapters in a nutshell. Make sure you're continuing to read for your literature circles. Remember, your assignment for that is your group determined to what page you're reading. And so you need to read to that page, and you're to come up with 1 question for the group and 1 comment about what you read for our next literature circle meeting on October 5th. So that's your literature circle assignment. As for your other assignments, you need to begin preparing for your picture book. I've given you the new rubric for that, and it's a very important piece. So you need to decide on a topic and bring materials to work on your book in class on October 5th. I will be giving you approximately an hour to work in small groups, to talk with partners, to take the time to start designing this book. So anything that you might need, and I expect everybody to be working during that time on the picture book. So whatever you need, please bring that to class. You also need to answer these journal prompts. Like I said earlier in the slideshow, please look at this picture and write down what you see, what you think, what you wonder, and what's the title of this book. Then I also want you to answer what is the most important way to motivate a reader in your mind and why. Complete your literature circle reading. And then lastly, read chapters 5, 6, and 12 in your book. All due on October 5th when we have class. Thank you so much. I appreciate you taking the time to watch this video, and make sure you go in to see the Rainbow Fish Read Aloud. There could be journal prompt questions on October 5th regarding rainbow fish. So please make sure that you do that. Have a great week, and I will see you on October 5th in Georgetown. Thank you.